Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly podcast covering the video game industry. Join us every Thursday for discussion with the latest gaming news, reviews, and exclusive reveals alongside Game Informer staff and special guests from around the industry. I'm one of your hosts today, Alex Van Aken. I'm joined by Marcus Stewart. How you doing, Marcus?
Hey, happy July, everyone.
Yeah, happy July. We made it.
We did it. And you know what they say about July, I guess?
What's that?
What
do they say?
Well, when it's time for July, you're gonna fly.
All right. We're also joined by Kyle Hilliard. How you doing, Kyle?
Hey, good. I'm gonna fly because it's July. As we all know, we always say that every year, and this year is no different, obviously.
Spread your wings.
Yep. Spread your wings. It's July. Hello, John Carson, special guest, former Game Informer editor, freelance journalist at large. How are you, John?
I'm doing all right. I'm stretching out my wings. I'm going to be flying this week out of town, except I'm staying on the ground the whole time. So
I thought you were telling me you're going on a boat, actually.
I will be on a boat.
So that is not ground, crucially.
Yeah. I mean, well, there'll be minimal ground touching, hopefully.
Are you all big, like, hot dog people, 4th of July people, or is it just kind of a day off?
I like a hot dog.
Yeah.
I'm not really big into fireworks, honestly. Like I don't mind them, but I don't go out of my way to see them, and I definitely never buy them. I don't think I've ever bought a firework.
Yeah.
So.
I'll be in the
like
woods celebrating America.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'll at least be like close to Canada, so I'll be like celebrating.
That's true.
Yeah.
I like the movie.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Which one?
Independence Day.
Born on the 4th of July.
The only one that matters, John.
The movie.
Come on, the only one that matters.
Did you guys know they made a sequel to that movie? They made a whole sequel to Independence Day.
I tried not to, Kyle. You didn't have to bring that up, but
did the producers of New Year's Day and Valentine's Day ever make a July 4th movie?
I think they
did. There has to be one.
I don't know.
The rom-com series.
Those are all Gary Marshall joints, and he passed away a couple years ago. So I think.
Did he pass away on a holiday?
Let's look it up.
Yeah, I was like, was he basically the calendar man of the film industry? Of course, iconic Batman villain Calendar Man is who I'm referring to, the one we all know and love.
Yes, of course.
Was it a big ensemble funeral?
Just the Easter Bunny, Cupid,
lots of stories all coming together for the funeral and the fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. I think we could have.
So Gary Marshall, of course, died on National Urban Beekeeping Day. National Football Day, International Karaoke Day, July 19th. I know I didn't need to tell you guys.
July 19th, we're coming up on it.
Yeah, exactly. So get ready for National Daiquiri Day on July 19th.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Urban Beekeeping Day? Like, not just Beekeeping Day, but there is what is urban beekeeping?
What are you confused about
in the city?
I don't understand what you're asking. It's National Urban Beekeeping Day.
It explains itself.
Like, you got these honeybees in the streets?
Yeah.
just making honey, I guess. Okay.
It's like people that have like the rooftop gardens in the city. They got beekeepers in the city.
Like, I didn't
There's
know
some documentaries you should watch.
I would like to see an urban beekeeping documentary, genuinely.
Yeah, I actually don't know if there is one. I'm just assuming. I think there's a high likelihood.
It's got a day, so there's got to be a documentary.
It's on Apple Plus.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. We're going to be talking about our favorite games of the year today, from January 2025 to July 1st when we're recording this. And it's going to be a good show. I think if you're a listener, you'll probably get some recommendations maybe you haven't heard of, or you'll get our impressions if you missed it earlier in the year when we were shut down. There's some bigger games that came out. This is a chance for us to talk about them in a fun way. So I think the order
shut down.
We were shut down, believe it or not. Yes.
Okay,
many people have forgotten this apparently. We're going to be going one at a time. I'm sure our lists will share some entries, and if so, that'll kind of spark a larger discussion on that game. But I think it'll be a great way to kind of catch up on the year so far. And if you're listening, we'll make sure you have timestamps and all that for the games mentioned.
Isn't it wild that we're halfway through the year now, by the way?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah,
I feel like we're already close to like having to be like, Gonna have to start playing some games to get ready for Game of the Year.
Yeah, there's one big game in particular. I'm gonna save it until one of you. I don't know if any of you have in your list, but there's one big game I'm like almost stressing of like I have not played this at all, but I know this is a GOTY contender and I need to get to it because it's gonna take a while to get through.
We'll get to it. Kyle, you want to kick us off though?
Okay.
You wanna share one of your games from your favorites of the year?
Should I start like at the like? Should I try to end with my favorite number one? Like as
I haven't ranked mine because
mine aren't ranked,
I haven't either. I know my number one. I'm going to start with Promise Mascot Agency, which is a game I actually haven't beaten. I played the first couple hours. It's really weird. It's kind of like an indie, like Grand Theft Auto 3 is almost where I would put it, because it's like you're driving around an open world a lot, but it's not like you're not getting out of the car, you're not shooting, it just feels like a throwback to that PS2 open world kind of era, and it's wrapped in this really bizarre story that takes place in a universe with like Yakuza and like mascots, right? People in mascot costumes, but they're like a species in this world. Like there exists, these creatures that look like mascots, and you have to like send them out on jobs and stuff like that. And you drive around the city to like, make sure you can find these jobs, and you like collect people, and like then you have them as playing cards to do combat. It's a really funky game, and I really liked what I played. It's the one where every time if I'm not like actively playing something that I'm like really, really excited about, or playing something for review or something, it's the one that I'm always like, ooh, I should go back and play more of that one. I should finish that one.
Are you collecting, are your cards like collecting the souls of the mascots essentially?
No,
or are they like more Yakuza like summons, where it's like, oh, the wrestler guy, I'm gonna summon him into combat?
You think it's card captors?
You're actually playing like a card game at certain moments, which is really outside of my typical. I know John's like eyes are like lighting up, and he's not.
Yeah,
I'm in. I'm downloading this now.
I'm not usually into card games like that, but it's such a like a minor portion of it. It's more about like the mood and the story, and then like when you send characters out on jobs, if they run into an issue, then it kind of turns into like a card game. And what happens is like you meet the mechanic who can upgrade your car to make it go faster, and he'll be like, yeah, add me to your deck, and he like gives you a card of himself, is kind of like the premise of it. It's one of those games that's like really bizarre to explain, but after you spend like half an hour with it, the world kind of makes sense, because they do such a good job of like setting the table for it. Yeah, it's weird. It's gosh, what is is it Paradise Killer? Is that the name of the game?
Yes, it's the same developer. Yeah.
Yes, the developers of it's their follow-up to Paradise Killer, which was another very strange game with like bizarre world building, but that was also quite effective at like, setting its table and giving you something interesting. So yeah, Promise Mascot Agency. I think it came out right around Blueprints and got kind of a little overshadowed by Blueprints, but like there was a group of people who were like, yeah, this and Blueprints are super hot right now.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's one that kind of, I remember hearing about it when it was first kind of shown off. Whether was it a direct or something? Yeah, and it seems really cool. So thank you for recommending that one.
Yeah.
John, we'll go to you next. What about you?
Sure.
What's one of your recommendations?
Yeah, my list is kind of chronological, so I'll go with the first game that I finished this year, and that was Blade Chimera.
Oh.
Which is it's a Metroidvania by a studio called Team Ladybug. They've been doing Metroidvanias for a few years that have been slowly gaining more and more popularity. But it's just such a tight experience. It's very Symphony of the Night meets Contra, kind of. You have your melee weapons, you have guns that you can equip, and you're working with both of those to get through this world. What are
you fighting predominantly? Are they like creatures?
Yeah, you're fighting demons. You're a demon hunter who's part of like this organization that hunts demons and is trying to protect society after like an apocalypse happened when the demons invaded Earth. But your character meets this demon and like forms a bond with it, and that demon like becomes a weapon for him. So he's kind of betraying his own organization, and hiding the fact that he's working with this demon to kind of solve the mystery of where he comes from, because he has no memories, but he's like this like top agent at this organization. It's super fun. It's all pixel art. Like I said, just really tight kind of Symphony of the Night style controls. It's one that a lot of people missed. It came out like mid-January.
It looks cool. I'm looking at screenshots.
Incredible.
The enemy designs look really neat.
Yeah, I realized I have played one of their other games. I played, was it Touhou Luna Nights? Yeah, yep. Touhou. I didn't finish it, but I was impressed with it. Yeah, and this is also, it looks like this is on Switch and PC, which I'm like, I'm looking for stuff to play on my Switch too. Maybe this is one to pick up.
And it's like a nice like 8 to 12 hours or something. It's not anything. It's not a huge time commitment. It really blows by. I think I tried to 100% it. Which I don't often do with games, but like it had me hooked enough that I wanted to check out everything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Blade Chimera.
Chimera.
Yeah.
Check it out. I think it's on the Steam sale right now for like $14.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Marcus, what about you? What's one of your recommendations?
So my first real obsession for 2025 was a lovely little puzzle game called The Roottrees Are Dead.
Oh yeah.
I have heard about this game. I don't know much about it though, so tell me.
So I recommend if you're a puzzle fan, particularly if you're into investigative games like Her Story or Return of the Obra Dinn, you should absolutely give this game a look. The premise is that you play some sort of investigator that is hired after a plane crash where the president of a candy/fashion company, along with his wife and his 3 teenage celebrity daughters, all die in this plane crash. And you're hired by a mysterious client to try to trace every blood relative of the Roottree family, which is a family whose sort of wealth goes all the way back to like the late 1800s, just like a generationally wealthy family. And you don't know why you're doing this yet. And sort of like the entire game is set in the 90s. So you're sitting at a computer and you're just pretty much just using a search engine to try to dig up articles and like find websites and just find any evidence to try to fill out this giant family tree on this cork board that's just got a bunch of spots and they're all blank. And you just need to find a photo. You need to find the names of each member, which for the women, you need to find their maiden names, which is a puzzle in itself because some of them have remarried maybe more than once. And then you also need to find their most recent occupation, which is also another puzzle for some of them that have maybe had multiple jobs. And it's a really fun exercise because like I fell in love with Her Story, particularly because it made me feel like a real detective, just going through the search engine and just trying to find keywords and just typing in, like you're reading articles and just typing in anything that you think might get a hit of like, okay, this one Roottree was, involved with this school play. Maybe I can find but her sister was also in the play, but I can't get anything on her. Can I maybe figure out which part she played or what else like she did, what other activity she was involved with in school? Or you're trying to find like, oh, well, who is like actually the blood relative of this person because there's been adoptions that have taken place. And maybe some of the information has gotten obscured, and it gets harder the older you go through the family tree because the older the relative is, the less of an online footprint they have. So the game does a really good job of sort of leading you along, but giving you just enough breadcrumbs that you can just kind of connect the dots in a really fun way, and also not really ever feel like you're lost because the game also does a great job of telling you when you're chasing a lead that has absolutely nothing. It's like, hey, there's nothing here. Like there's some just sort of like in-game prompts or like the musings of the person that you're playing as, will he'll just be like, nah, I guess there's nothing here, I better move on. But what's nice about it, since the family tree is so big, you can kind of tackle multiple threads at once. So if you get stuck trying to figure out the relationship between his aunt and his uncle, you can move on to like, well, I'm going to try to find the kids of this other person. But it becomes really engrossing really quick. Like I spent so many nights where I would be up till like past midnight with a cup of coffee, just feeling like feeling like I'm really trying to do this for someone. Of like, man, I'm just like one breakthrough away to figure out like who is the husband of this person, or what is his job? Like, and it's like the writing is so well done because a lot of the clues are hidden right in front of you. And it's so many times I would be stuck on something only to figure it out later just because I looked at the same thing, but with just new knowledge attached to it, you know? So it does a really good job of making old evidence that you have collected feel new again once you find that one news article or magazine piece that just completely shifts your perspective of how you should look at somebody. And the sort of meta narrative going on of like, as you're finding the family members, you're learning about their very tumultuous family history. And the family becomes like very fascinating characters, even though you never actually meet or speak to any of them. You're reading so much about them that they feel like fully fleshed out characters. And you almost, at least for me, you kind of find some that you kind of like more than others. Because there's like a televangelist in there. There's like a Hollywood starlet. There's, of course, like the candy CEO. The Roottrees girls are just like basically Mary Kate and Ashley analogs.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a really cool game. Like it's so easy to get wrapped up in it. I think the puzzle design and even just sort of the quality of life stuff, because it's definitely one of those games where you need to write down stuff. Like this is a note taking game.
Have a notebook.
Yeah.
Did you play? Did you play? What was that series? The Golden Idol. This kind of sounds like that.
I love Golden Idol.
Yeah. Is this kind of in the same ballpark then?
Well, Golden Idol's a lot more like the puzzle design's different because it's a little bit more like kind of like Mad Libby style, like the structure. It's not really that, like, because at least for that, it's a lot of like looking at images and sort of trying to pick things in a scene. To figure things out. This is like you're more reading and occasionally listening to things like audio files. And then just sort of like, again, just picking out things in a newspaper thing that might seem like something you want to search in this internet browser to see if you get any hits, you know? So I
sounds
think
cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I like I said, it felt like it had like, because it was so early in the year, it had a bit of a groundswell. I'm hoping that, you know, especially with Blueprints coming out, like I think those are to me the number 1 and number 2 for like best puzzle game contention. But it's definitely one that I've had in my mind of like when we get towards game of the year, I'm going to be like hounding you guys like, hey, you guys need to play Roottrees. I can't be the only one on this Roottrees island. You guys need to go play it.
Yeah, that's cool. I have been playing a new game called Peak from Landfall and Aggro Crab. You might have heard of it. It's recently gotten a lot of support online. I think they crossed 2 million sales in like a week or something.
Good for them.
Yeah, but they the Peak is this for one, it's $8 on Steam, but it's a co-op climbing game. And so it is first person, and each of you at the start, you're kind of flying into an airport, and you all arrive in like the airport terminal. And there's like a climbing gym and that kind of thing for you to practice and stuff. And you can, if you pull out your passport, you can like customize your character. So everyone's like very cartoony. So like you're very simple looking people, but it's like very cartoon, like, you know, purple, green, orange people. And you unlock hats and other outfits as you play the game more. And so it's big on, very much big on like, here is a sandbox. You have a goal of climbing to the top of the peak. And once you get to the top of the peak, the kind of fog of war dissipates. And there's another peak for you to climb with like different challenges and like different biomes. So I've made it up until the first area is like I think it's called Shore Peak, or you're kind of like, you've crash landed on an airport, or airplane rather, kind of Lost style along the beach. And you kind of got to climb some pretty basic mountains to get up to the top. And along the way you have a stamina bar that you're managing. And so there are various like hidden objects in the world, or sometimes there are, a lot of times you'll run into like luggage that has fallen out of the plane that you crashed in. And inside will be things like bandages to like, if you fall, there's fall damage in the game. And the cool thing about this, the way that the stamina bar works, the stamina bar and your health bar are the same thing, essentially. And so there could be a number of debuffs that you get for your stamina bar. So you could be poisoned, and that takes away, your stamina bar. And you can, if you are injured or poisoned, or you're too cold, or if you drink an energy drink in the game, you kind of have a sugar crash afterwards, and so your character's really sleepy. And if you run out of energy, your character will literally like fall over, and still in first person, you're like rolling off a cliff because your character's so sleepy. And there's a lot of like cool physics stuff happening. But yeah, you're trying to climb these peaks by yourself, and it's designed to be a co-op game. So like you can like reach your hand out and let your friend grab yours. Like it's really all about like who is in the best position to get one ledge higher, and how can we get everybody up there too. And it's a lot of fun.
Are there multiple mountains? Like what happens when you get to like the top of a mountain? Oh, okay.
That's where I was saying that fog of war kind of dissipates, and then you have a new mountain to climb. Gotcha. And they are swapping them out. I don't know if it's weekly. They're like routinely implementing new maps, like new levels for you to play through. I think they're somewhat procedural. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, like real mountains.
Like real mountains, yes.
Yeah.
And so this kind of, I guess this cycle of the map, I'm getting to know the maps now that I've put in, 6 or 7 runs, but then they're going to swap eventually, and it'll be a new mountain for me to explore. But yeah, it's really easy to get injured, and there are certain areas when you get up to the snow area, there's these large gusts of icy wind that will freeze your character, and so you have to like hide behind trees or go deeper into caves to escape the elements. And all of that is kind of done via this like stamina bar. And it's a really cool idea that, if I'm injured, I have much less stamina. And so the more status effects you get on yourself, the trickier it is to climb higher because you have less stamina to use. So it's really a game about item management. Do I want to use my rope here or put a piton in the side of this mountain so I have a handhold so that I can recover my stamina halfway up this climb? There are also like I'm calling them like god items, where they are like Pandora's lunchbox. You can open it and like some strange stuff happens. I haven't really understood everything that item does. There's not a lot of like tooltips or anything. Like the instructions come in the form of a diegetic in-game handbook that you have to carry in your inventory to open it up and read. And as you progress in the game, I guess you discover more pages or something, it seems like. But there isn't like a really big tutorial where it's like, you unlocked this lunchbox, use it to. And so there's a lot of like trial and error that lead to very comedic moments. It's a lot of fun. One thing that my friends and I have been doing is races. So we will all spawn into a level, and the starting it will essentially like rock, paper, scissors, to decide who gets to select the first item at the starting beach. And so some people go for the backpack so that you can carry more items. But if you have the backpack on, then your stamina bar is decreased because you've got extra weight on you. Other people will go for dumb items like the trumpet.
Yeah, isn't this how the Hunger Games starts?
Exactly. Yes. And the charm of it all is all like in-game like proximity chat. So the best way to play it is like, even if you're on friends with Discord, just mute everybody, mute all your friends, and just play with proximity chat, because they also add in a lot of like audio effects. So if you're in a cavern, you're gonna sound like that. You're gonna sound like you're in a cavern. There's a lot of reverb on your voice, and it's just super funny when you hear somebody fall. You can't really tell where they're at, like you've been separated, and you just hear them like screaming as they fall to their death.
Is it like, and then it just goes quiet?
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. It's a ton of fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Just bought it on Steam because you reminded me.
Yeah.
Because I thought I did. I've been wanting to stream this, but we've been so busy with the magazine. But like, we need to like. I would love, even if it's just you and I, Alex. We need to stream this sometime.
I am totally down. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that was Peak. Peak. Kyle, what's your next recommendation?
Let's talk about Mario Kart World.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is good. It is a good game, which is surprising no one. I will say though, like I thought I knew what to expect with Mario Kart World, and for the most part, it met those expectations, and it was what I hoped it would be and thought it would be. But there have been a number of moments, especially early on, where I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like there would be like, like bosses, like Mario 64 bosses running around the road, or like there's it's like one of the first races you do, or at least in the first batch of races you do, where you're driving up the Donkey Kong construction site as a giant Donkey Kong robot.
The
Donkey Kong
DK
throwing
spaceport.
barrels. Yeah. And there were moments like that where I was like, oh, this is actually exceeding my sort of, I don't know, high expectations might not be the right word, as much as it's like, Mario Kart 8 is like amazing. They're gonna sort of iterate on that, and it's gonna be cool. But I think it's just like a really good kickoff for the Switch 2. I know people are already kind of sort of complaining about the Switch launch, which I think is fair. I mean, I think in my review, I think I called it pitiful. But like, I think it's like just a really great way to kick off the Switch 2 is like Mario Kart, because like it is, whenever you have a new console, you're kind of like, you hit a point pretty quickly, like within the first day or two, where you're like, I want to play this thing, but like I don't really know what to play necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
But like Mario Kart is good for like, you could just hop in and do a race and like get, a satisfying experience out of it. And it looks great and it plays great and all those things. It's like, it's the A+ student continuing to turn in A material. Like we kind of like throw those things out, like, oh, it plays great and it looks amazing, which they're like not incredibly difficult to achieve, but Nintendo just like has hit this point of like, we just kind of expect it from them. And it's great. It's really great. I'm sure it'll be on my like personal top 10 at the end of the year.
Oh, 100%
well,
for me.
I guess maybe I shouldn't say it with such confidence, because I don't know what the rest of the year looks like necessarily.
Still
but like,
6 months.
I know, but I would be surprised if it's not on my top 10.
Yeah. Is it weird that I would almost put like Knockout Tour as its own mode in my top 10? Like I think that's one of the best sort of like offerings of any game this year is knockout mode. Like it's just such a good idea for Mario Kart and really any racing game that it's like it's one of the like, how has no one thought of this? It's like, this is such a cool like.
They kind of did though before, like F-Zero 99 had something similar.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, F-Zero 99.
I mean, F-Zero X has a mode that I always loved when I was young. That it was like you versus, I think it was 50 other races, and you would just keep going, until you were the last surviving one. I remember that when I booted up F-Zero X on Switch, right? It is on N64, right? Isn't it?
I think so. Let me check.
So.
This is a weird thing to call out, but I think I might have actually in the last couple of years been playing it on Wii U, which is very random. But like,
it is F-Zero X is on Switch.
Okay, but yeah, you can play that battle mode, and I remember even at the time thinking like, yeah, this feels like an early like a racing pub, like a battle royale kind of, which is what they have now in Mario Kart World, and it's cool as hell.
I think one of the things that's really helped with, I think, keeping the excitement around Mario Kart for at least the past few weeks is having those bigger races. Like you have 24 racers in there, like whether it's people or PC. But like anytime someone drops like a room code on social media, like you could just like hop in there and then like all of your friends are just going to be racing. I haven't seen something like that in a little bit, at least for like a bigger multiplayer experience at least between I guess people in the game industry. But everyone's still like, I've seen people complain about the game, but like even with those complaints, those same people will stuff themselves into a room with other people and knock out some races.
Yeah. I feel like the complaints are mostly just like, the free roam could have more to do.
Yeah,
it's like that.
My main complaint was the whole like, oh, we're not doing multiple laps on a course. Like the courses themselves don't feel as like bespoke, and like you don't really have to learn the intricacies of a specific course.
But they have patched that in now.
They have. So like if you're doing multiplayer, like a lot of people were talking about this last week, but where Nintendo had patched out doing like three lap races, but you can actually, whenever you're choosing your next course, you hit the start button, you get to choose from the map where you want to go. If it's a map that's not connected to where you are currently, you'll do a 3 lap race instead of traveling to that place and then doing 1 lap there.
I gotta say, I don't understand that complaint at all. I don't want 3-lap races. I
like having the option.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. But like, it's so odd because like I've heard some complaints that are like, I want to be able to do the race like over and over, right? And it's like, it's Mario Kart, man. You're gonna play these races over and over. That gets exhausting to me in standard Mario Kart. It's like I want the newness. I want to move on and be on a new race. And if I want to play that race again, I will play it again some. I don't know. It's just an odd complaint to me to want that 3-lap structure. You know, it's like,
it feels like. I mean, I think I've talked about on the show before. Like, that's the novelty of this Mario Kart is you see the in between. You know, it's the road trip.
My favorite courses in 8 were the ones that were just straight shots, like going down the mountain. Like it just gets redundant to me. But I'm also a very impatient gamer.
I love what is it, Wario, Mount Wario?
Like I don't even like. I can't get into Monster Hunter because I don't want to fight the same monsters over and over. Sure. You know, so it's like I think that's also the way my brain likes.
You don't like repeats.
My brain likes about video games. I just want novelty. You know, it just like constantly give me novelty. So yeah,
I'm with you. I am really loving this Mario Kart. It's really the only game that in peak right now. I'm kind of in a weird spot. I think I'm a little burnt out just on, it's been a lot of work with games lately, and I just haven't found there's so many great games I know I would enjoy if I just booted them up, but I just haven't found the energy to. And so, but anytime, like John said, when somebody puts out a social code, like a race code on social media, I'm like, I want to play Mario Kart. Let's do it. I'm just having a blast with that and peak, so Mario Kart's very high for me this year.
Cool.
Yeah, really enjoying that. Great pick, Kyle. John, what's your next one?
Oh, geez. I guess we're still going chronological here. I'm going to go with Avowed from Obsidian Entertainment. Avowed really surprised me, and I'm not like... I like the whole Fallout-y, Bethesda formula.
Yeah.
But like this... I think this was painted as that, but it's more Mass Effect-y than anything else. So Avowed is a first-person fantasy RPG where you are brought to a new land, and there's just stuff going on with nature. There's tumultuous things happening with the residents there, and then you have like this weird voice that starts talking to you.
Yes.
And a lot of the things that you do, like you're trying to figure out what this voice is and trying to calm these issues that are happening with the residents. But there's so many choices that you make in that game that make it such a kind of like Mass Effect back in the day. Like the choices you make really matter and will truly affect the path that you take through it and like what your endings are going to be. I feel like games try to do that occasionally. You can kind of see like the flow chart through it, but this is one where like there are certain points where I didn't expect it to be such a like a game changing choice that I would make, and by the end of the game, like I could see like where that broke off, and I have no clue like where the other paths would have taken me. Or like what minor decisions I would be taking throughout that game that would take me somewhere different. I'm sure a lot of it flows to the same spot regardless, but there's like characters that can die, and
people leave your party and stuff too, right?
People leave your party. Yeah, it was a really, really impressive game, and actually makes me way more excited for the Outer Worlds too. And what they're doing with that. If they're touching any of that like decision making, I think that game's gonna be really, really cool.
I didn't get to talk about it on the show because I think we ran into technical issues. We had a segment recorded about Outer Worlds too, but I got to play it at SGF and really walked away impressed with it. With kind of the choices and like the way they're changing the flaw system is really neat. People want to check out my preview. I've got a 2-pager in this issue of Game Informer. You can go and read on the website right now, GameInformer.com/subscribe.
I just want to add for Avowed. I think the thing that maybe impresses me as much as the choice stuff is the combat. Like, I think it is the best first person sort of like RPG combat. Like, I guess if you want to say like that Bethesda style, like easily, but like to the point where I fired up the Oblivion remaster and I played through that, the intro dungeon, got out to the world, and the first thing I thought was, man, I really missed that combat in Avowed. Like, I knew it was good, but it feels even better when you go back to how, it used to be in the olden days of just like, because like the combat doesn't feel floaty. Like all the attacks, like the melee weapons all feel weighty and fast. There's a nice pace to it. And then
you have to be on your toes too.
Like it's not easy either.
No.
Like you really have to, like it's like blocking.
Maybe I'm
going
to play Avowed. Maybe that's the game
dude.
I played the first couple hours. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, like there's a sense of maneuverability in that game that you don't see in a lot of first person kind of like action games like that, where you have a dash, you have a block, you have a parry. The enemies force you to use all three of those pretty copiously. And then the ability to combine like basically anything of like, I could be a spellcaster in one hand and I can have a gun in the other one. And let's just see how this goes. And I got a book that shoots like 5 different spells. And then I also have like a sick like scimitar or rapier. And I'm just like going at these guys. It is it's so much fun to just fight things. And then it's fun to get around because there's like parkour style, almost like platforming. Like there's a lot of verticality in the game that you don't normally see, where it just feels good to just like, I'm just going to run and jump over a bunch of stuff. And you're just like mantling over things. And they just made getting around and just like engaging with the game outside of just talking to people feel really good.
Yeah. Those environments too are just ridiculous looking. Yeah. I mean, they're beautiful.
And like unique too. Like, because a lot of fantasy games can bleed together, but this one has like weird mushroom motif. Like your character is like a mushroom person, basically.
Yeah.
You're touched by a god, so you got all the plant stuff. I think it helps that it's not a big open world, like it is open zones. But that helps to like focus their direction on like making things super dense and making things look good, and make it just it's just an interesting area to explore. Wherever you go, it's
got a real purposeful design to like, we put this here because we thought it was the most aesthetically pleasing place to put this.
Yeah, it rules. That's a game I want to go back to at some point when I forget a little bit more of what happened and then just take a different course through it.
Yeah. Well, cool. How about you, Marcus? What's your next game?
This is the game I feel the most bad that we weren't able to do a proper review, just because it came out right when we were just kind of getting started again.
Yeah.
And it's also a game that you kind of can't play on your own free time because you need 2 people to play it. And that is Split Fiction, which I finished after working through it for like pretty much since launch with a buddy of mine. We took kind of like, not intentionally took our time, just we took as much as our schedules could allow, especially him because he is like a recent father. So he's got a newborn that he has to deal with. But we would play every other weekend or so, like sometimes just for an hour, just because of timing. But that game is good as hell.
Is it? Okay, all right.
It is a fantastic game.
What I keep hearing.
For some reason, the themes weren't really jumping out to me like they did with the other games.
It takes two and
it takes two and a way out. Yeah, I don't know why. I think it was just like it felt more on the nose with like fantasy and sci-fi.
It is,
but it lends itself to gameplay. It's not a great they announced like a film adaptation of Split Fiction recently, and my reaction was kind of like,
do you think that comes after the It Takes Two film that's also supposed to be happening?
Right. Yeah. There's all of these like video game film. I mean, Clair Obscur is a film any second now, but I mean, but I think it is like, I mean, the sort of setup is kind of silly and the dialogue is silly, but like the levels that it sort of lets you jump between is worthwhile. Like, it's good. I haven't finished it because my co-op partner, my daughter, a teenager who's not usually available. I was because Marcus, I was gonna review it, like that was the plan. I was like, I'll play with my daughter, and then I have to like schedule
Like,
with
no
her.
doubt.
I gotta talk to her secretary.
We gotta dock her pay.
Yeah, exactly. But I also did like it, and I've been carefully, and don't betray me here, Marcus, but like I hear the ending is amazing, and so I've been really careful to like I don't want to see any of it. I don't want anything spoiled about it. I just like that's a goal. I hear it's amazing, so my kid and I will get through it at some point is the plan.
Yeah, I really liked It Takes Two. Like I thought that was also a fantastic game. Like just the sheer amount of creativity and variety was just kind of staggering. But I was like not a fan of the story, which I don't think is a controversial opinion to have. I'm not saying this story is like leaps and bounds better, but I do think it's better, and I think it does get better the deeper you get into it. But I think I would honestly say, like looking back on it now, I think they might have topped what they've done in It Takes Two. Just it's got a same amount of just like variety and just surprises of just like the way mechanics change constantly. But I think having
there's that novelty
overall,
you were talking about, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and I do think that theme they were talking about of like sci-fi and fantasy, two different worlds, these two different writers, like these two things, they play with that in gameplay in like really, really neat ways. Where It Takes Two was, it was all one theme of like little person in a big world, basically.
Yeah,
of like they do the genre mashups really well, and like I would say like 80% of the time in ways where I was like, oh, I didn't know we were doing this. I didn't think you could do it this way, or that they were taking this different direction. And yeah, that final sequence is on my like list of like, this is one of the best, I don't know, segments or sequences of the year. Like it is the ultimate like flex of like, oh, you thought we ran out of ideas. Well, check this out. And then you're like, oh my God, okay. And it's like, and it is like an extended final sequence that is just me and my friend the whole time just kept saying, this is so cool. This is so cool. Holy crap. This is amazing.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Is this I know a lot of people like to play these games with like significant others or friends who normally maybe don't play games just because of like the couch co-op nature of it, right? And I think especially the themes of like It Takes Two, people were like, I want to play this with somebody that I care about, right?
Yeah, they just don't want to kill that elephant.
Yeah. But It Takes Two was not an easy game, I would say. Like you do, like, is this game, is there a character that is maybe more suited for the newer player of the two, or is it pretty even in terms of like challenge?
No, they're the same. They're the same character. Okay. I mean, they get different things, but there's no like easy character. And I would say that I think this is even more of like a demanding video game than It Takes Two, because it's a lot more of an action game, whereas It Takes Two is a little bit more of a platformer. Yeah. Like, not that there isn't platforming in this, but there are like straight up just like action sequences more often than not in this game. And yeah, I was talking with that my friend, because he was thinking about playing with his wife, who was like I'd say like a mid-level gamer, like doesn't play a bunch of stuff, and like she doesn't play enough where he kind of has to curate what they play. And he was saying like, I don't know if she could do this one. This is this gets pretty intense. Like him and I are doing great because him and I play games all the time.
Sure.
But yeah, this is a lot more of like a video game.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on. I will shout out. Oh, this is one that I don't think I've talked about. It's called Picnic Penguin. This is a $5 Sokoban game.
Oh, I gotta buy this now too.
It's $2.50 on the Steam sale right now.
Oh, okay, then I may as well just get it.
This game has 6 user reviews on Steam. Like this is
5 of them from Alex Van Aken.
I am one of them.
Can we read it now?
Let me find it.
I have them on the page. Can I find it?
Yeah. Do you see my review?
Let's see. Yeah, you're the first one. Okay. Enjoyable Sokoban puzzles that are not too difficult. The pixel art is also solid, easy to read, and full of personality. Enjoyable little casual penguin or puzzle game for relaxing or keeping up in the background in between work. Yep. Not bad, but you got to get your character count up, though. We can't put this in
Steam reviews.
It's more of a review roundup entry.
I know it helps developers, and so I will write the Steam reviews. But like they are the most. It's the same thing. Like I track the games I play on the GG app, and I played like Blueprints or Animal Well is a great reference. I beat Animal Well, which I loved. I adored that game. And my GG app review is like, that's a masterpiece, huh? Like, it's just like, I just like do the minimum character count, and I log the review.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I do Letterboxd.
Yeah.
A sentence.
Exactly. But yeah, Picnic Penguin, it is vibrant and colorful and fun. It reminds me of like something that you would find on the Game Boy Advance. Very like more of on the cartoony side of the pixel art spectrum. So like nice thick black outlines on objects, really like primary color driven, blocks of color. And yeah, they're just really fun Sakoban puzzles. That I found this game. I was just like randomly searching on the Steam store one day. I was trying to find like really deep dive on games that didn't get any highlight really, and I was like, damn, this game's like really good looking. And I think I caught it like the day it came out, and yeah, it's been really enjoyable. It functions well. I don't know if I've tried it on Steam Deck or not, but
is it on Switch?
I don't think so.
I would love. This seems like the perfect Switch game. It's like I'll buy it on Steam, but if I have the option, I would like to have it on Switch.
Doesn't seem to be. Looks like
it's just Steam. I think this is like, it might be on. It's on Apple. It looks like it's on Apple. iPhone.
The two things I don't have: an iPhone and a Steam Deck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think this could totally be a decent iPhone game. Like I think Sokoban puzzles kind of lend themselves to that touch style. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a ton of substance to say about this game, other than, and like I said in the review, it's breezy, it's cheap as hell, and it's just a really enjoyable vibe. I enjoy the music, the art. It's just nice and relaxing, and it's something, I think I said it in that short Steam review, like it's something you could have up while you're in a meeting. Oh, let me just do a quick puzzle while people are grabbing water or whatever. And none of it is really, I haven't gotten to a point in it. I haven't gotten far enough in it to where it's super challenging, but there are definitely like, you definitely have to think on some of them. And yeah, I recommend that. Picnic Penguin. And the developer is called, I want to shout them out since they're so small. Neutronized. Yeah. This thing came out in, they just released a new game. What's up with this? Dino Quake releases. They're about to release it. No, June 19th. Oh, and it's the same art style. All right.
It's like Mario Brothers kind of.
He's already writing a Steam review.
All right, we see you, Neutronized. But yeah, that's my next pick. I'm gonna send it back to you, Kyle. What's your next recommendation?
Let's talk about, let's talk about Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Ooh,
Certainly the longest title.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
It's Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii is what it is. Which is, I'm a recent Yakuza person, like most people, I feel like it's kind of become like, there were 6 other Yakuza games and then 7 came out, and I feel like now it's kind of mainstream, and I like watched my wife play 7 and she loved it. And then I played The Man Who Erased His Name to kind of, that was like sort of like, I'm going to use this to sort of like dip my toe here, and enjoyed that. And then I really loved Infinite Wealth. And Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii was one where it was like, I felt like it was like perfect for me, right? This kind of player who like, I don't really know Majima. Like I didn't play those other 6 Yakuza games. He shows up in 8, but it's like, I know this guy. He's like an iconic looking guy. I know he's important to Yakuza, but like the nice thing about Hawaii, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii is it was like, you got to learn who Majima was, but also like you didn't have to worry about any baggage of him because he's an amnesiac, like he lost his memory. So like, I understand that I didn't get the full Majima experience,
Sure.
Like I still don't really know him because I know a version of him, but yeah, the story of that game is weak compared to like Infinite Wealth or what I saw of 7, but it's one of those that just like sucked me in, and like I wanted to do everything. I did every side quest. I like did all I like got my pirate ship upgraded all the way, And it was just super fun to play and super fun to unlock things, and that those worlds are always fun and those characters are always fun. And there's like, when we talk about moments of the year, there's this like insane sequence in that game that I mean, I don't want to spoil, but like if you're a fan of like reality TV, like The Bachelor and stuff like that, like there is a sequence in that game that is just absolutely hilarious and unexpected. And I really loved it, and I'll be talking about it when we talk about end of the year stuff. But yeah, just a charming as hell action game, you know.
That sounds awesome. You definitely piqued my interest, Kyle. You said the keywords.
If you genuinely, Alex, if you don't think you'll play, like if you're honest with yourself and you're like, I'm not gonna go play this, I'm not gonna spend 60 hours.
I probably won't. So I want you to tell me.
I'll send you that. I'll send you what I'm talking about. It's
yeah,
really
please
funny.
do. That sounds awesome. John, what's your next game?
Should we go big or small?
Let's go big.
Okay. I feel like it comes in and out of the conversation this year. But it came out March or so. But Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yes.
I'm a big Monster Hunter fan. I haven't played this much past hitting the first set of credits. But I think like expanding the world of Monster Hunter into like these vast maps, and you need a mount to get around quickly. It has been really cool, and like seeing monsters just kind of like living in these environments and seeing how they interact with like the smaller ecology and all of that is super neat, and kind of just going out and like you could in previous Monster Hunters, you can kind of go out into whatever map and see what monsters were out there. But this is more like, I'm going to go out into this, whatever map I'm close to. And it feels like the monsters are kind of living there as opposed to what's spawning in this area today. The combat's really cool. They added like new systems for like wounding the monsters and then capitalizing on those wounds. Everything about it's just super fun. There's a new update out for it now that added Gaia Cruise from Monster Hunter Tri, which is like their big water monster. So they added some underwater sections to the game now.
How's that been received?
It seems all right. I was talking with Jesse Vitelli last night about it, and he's played through that fight, and there's it's not like full underwater combat. You can't swing your weapon or anything, but you can like maneuver around and like grapple onto the monster and do like some interactions with items underwater. But that could just be the first like the start of more underwater mechanics kind of moving into whatever expansion might come out for this game later. So that seems like a pretty big aspect to add during like a patch.
Yeah.
Without like building that out further.
Am I wrong? Wasn't like swimming a bigger deal in past Monster Hunter games?
Yeah, specifically in 3. That was like their big innovation there was doing underwater fighting. And you could like actually swing your sword or shoot your bow or whatever underwater. I don't know if we've gotten to a place with games where maneuvering underwater is like all that fun. But for like little breaks during the fight, it sounds like most of this fight happens on land, but you do have like these little underwater sections to kind of break it up, which I think is probably a nice accent to what they're doing with all the on the ground stuff. But yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds is just a solid entry in that series. It's probably going to be on my top 10. It's something I'm going to be playing throughout the year. It has some, like, I kind of miss the verticality of Monster Hunter World, as opposed to the more vast and open maps that they have here. But I still love it. Like that game's great and has some really, really cool boss monsters near the end.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one I want to go back to. I think I played probably 5 to 10 hours. It came out like this is right as we were bringing the magazine back, and so there was just so much going on behind the scenes work wise that most of those games that came around that time I just missed because of that kind of stuff. But Yeah, I feel like I kind of missed out a bit on Wilds. I really enjoyed on TikTok watching people live stream it or, show off just ridiculous moments. That's the problem with those games. I always feel like if you aren't in on the first 2 weeks of that game, like you've kind of missed the boat sometimes, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like I want to be earning stuff with my friends simultaneously. I hate when people are like, well, I'll just run you through everything and, get you a bunch
hold your
of
hand,
cool
Grandpa?
Yeah. I don't like that. And I also don't want to play alone necessarily. So it's like,
That kind of happened to me too. Like some of the people that I wanted to play with were reviewing it. And so they were playing it multiple weeks early. And by the time like I got my hands on it, they were like done with it. So
yeah.
I've mostly been doing single player stuff in there.
That's fair.
I still got to finish that really bad campaign. It's just like it's like the gatekeep to like the there's fun stuff like to get to the promised land on the other side. You got to hang out with this stupid kid and deal with his story.
the last like act of that I think is good. It's kind of like
I think I'm at the last act. I think I'm
it's kind of like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like when you get to Area Zero, you're like, oh, okay, this is what I've been playing this for. There's some really, really cool fights at the end of there.
Yeah, I know. I've been dragging my feet because every time I go back in, I was like, I don't want to talk to any of you people. Just get me to the
Yeah, I feel you, Marcus. Well, Marcus, actually, it's your turn. You want to give us another recommendation?
Yeah, I'll go big too. Doom: The Dark Ages. I reviewed that game.
I really need to play this.
It's fun as hell. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. That's how fun it is. It's, man, what if you gave Doom Guy a shield? That sounds absurd on paper, right? Even more absurd than what if he was like in vaguely medieval times, sort of. It's like dumber than that, but then it's like it literally is the best thing of the game, and it's kind of like everything around it in terms of the combat encounters is sort of revolves around how well you use that shield, because it is a lot more like it's the same like fast-paced like run and gun of the old Doom games, but like a lot closer to 2016 Doom as opposed to Eternal, because you can actually like kill anyone with everything. Whereas Eternal, one thing I really didn't like about the game was how situational a lot of the combat encounters felt. Like it felt like they were encouraging you to only use certain weapons because you had to
almost
reload.
like puzzle like.
Yeah, which I was not the biggest fan of. So they get away from that in this one, but now enemies can attack you with like moves that you can parry back at them, and it feels it's wild how well it works in the Doom formula. Like it adds a really fun defensiveness to combat where you feel like you feel more encouraged to get like really up in the face of demons because you can just like block their attacks, and just like you have like a Captain America shield bash where you can just like close the gap by like zipping like a mile across the battlefield to just shield bash someone. You can throw the shield like Captain America, which feels great because it gives you another ranged option, and it can just like instantly kill like the smaller fodder enemies, and it feels great. And it can also like embed, like it can embed itself into bigger enemies and kind of stun them because it's like sawing into their flesh, and then you just kind of like blow them apart with a shotgun. But it doesn't feel like a crutch either, which I think is like crucial because you can only block so many things before the shield becomes unavailable temporarily. So the game is still about like, don't stop moving, like just keep moving, dodge everything you can, block and parry what you can, and then try to dodge everything else. But I just love how much more like, this is maybe the most overused term in video games, like journalism, but like visceral it is, because it is a lot more, like melee focused because of that, especially because you have like they revamped the melee combat where basically melee is like it has like ammo now, so you can only punch people 3 times and you replenish it by shooting people. So like every pillar of combat feeds into another one, where it's like the more people you melee, the more ammo you get, whereas the more people you shoot, the more juice you get for your melee attacks. And then you get different.
Did you like reload your fists like that Mission Impossible
reload
movie
your
with Henry
Watch
Cavill?
that.
You literally reload your fist.
Okay.
It is fantastic. And you also get like other melee weapons, like the big flail, which was my favorite, and it just like feels so satisfying to just smash that into people's faces. It looks fantastic, just like visually, like just it's like that medieval setting is like a really cool Like, we always say like those games look like metal band covers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that has rung more true than this one, because of just how like it's like this cool blend of like high tech sci-fi, where everyone just looks like a knight, but if they were like also a Borg from Star Trek a little bit. It's like a really cool mix. I'm kind of glad it wasn't just purely medieval stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of experimenting with that with Eternal, with like the sword, right?
Yeah, like a bit, yeah.
But this is like kind of like, you got your feet wet in Eternal with that kind of style. Now let's just make everything kind of this hybrid fusion of the two themes.
Yeah. But honestly, it's that shield that does it for me. Like, I think this is the best playing Doom game. Like, I even more so than 2016, and I adore Doom 2016, but like it's gotten to the like you can tell that they did a good job where I'm like, I'm gonna miss the shield if I go back to the other Doom games. Like, I don't know if they make a fourth one, how you can take this away now. Because it works so well, and I would love to see them iterate on it than just have it be a one and done and they try the next new thing. But yeah, it's also on my short list of like best, like, I don't know, mechanics of the year. Just like, yeah, that shield saw is fantastic in a game, and I love it. And it's such a Doom, the Dark Ages in general. It is an absolute blast that you gotta make time to play.
Is this your favorite game of the year so far?
No, but it's high up.
Okay. Yeah,
it's like top 5 for sure.
Cool. Hell yeah. Well, I guess I will go next. I want to talk about Elden Ring Nightreign. Have you all had a chance to play this finally, or not yet?
No, I'm Mr. Elden Ring too, but it's just it's more of the co-op nature. Like, I have 2 friends that I tend to play a lot of games with, but neither of them have gotten it yet. And I've just been I've been busy with my own stuff. Like, I have a review game right now, so it's somewhat frustrating to have a new Elden Ring game that I can't just pick up and play by myself, even though I technically can. But it seems from everyone I've talked to is heavily discouraged.
Not ideal.
No, yeah, you do not want to do that.
I did start it, but I want to hear what you think, Alex. But like, yeah, my reaction was kind of like, this isn't what I want from a game. I like the lonely single player scary experience, not the fast paced kind of. But that's why I want to hear. I've the arguments for people that love it. Like, I love hearing those, and it's like, I get it. That sounds cool. I just don't really want to play with Elden Ring with other people.
Yeah, that's fair. I really enjoy it. It's up there. Probably my favorite game that I've played so far. Maybe between that and like Mario Kart, honestly. I'm a simple man. But yeah, it's I love speedrunning, and I love there's been a few games in the past that I've like not like officially speed ran, but like I would have little competitions with my friends, like the Koopa races in Mario Odyssey. I got like pretty into for a while. Hitman, I in the review period for, I think it was Hitman 3, the World of Assassination trilogy, the most recent one. I know me, Jeff Grubb, a couple other people, like before the game came out, I had like the #1 time in like some of those levels. And I just love I love that idea of really like maximizing, your performance. And that's like absolutely required with Nightreign. It is, the core game revolves around whether or not you can complete what you're trying to do in the most efficient way possible. And there's something about doing that alongside, I prefer to do it with friends. I don't really have as great of an experience if I matchmake with random people, because they're off doing their own things,
That seems like a terrible way to play that game, honestly.
Yeah, because there's no voice chat, which is so dumb too.
Yeah. Like, even if there was, I don't know if I just want to talk to strangers about something.
That's fair, but at least like you can communicate on like, let's get on the same page. About what we want to do. And so that, I think that's like one of the biggest factors like that kind of curbs folks' enjoyment with it. You really have to have like 2 other friends that are willing to kind of go on that path of refinement and like hitting your head against the wall because, hey, I just invested 45 minutes into this run and we got wiped in the first 30 seconds of this boss fight just because the way the cards were dealt, and we didn't prepare correctly, or we didn't get the right roll at the start. And it's really fun when you get those bad rolls at the start and you still turn it around and you like kind of usurp those challenges. And yeah, I really like that game a lot. I haven't beaten it. I have 2 bosses left. I was trying to beat. You can technically beat the game after I think you defeat like 5 of the 8 bosses, I think.
Yeah,
but I wanted to do all of them.
Can you save your progress? Like, do you have to beat the game in one run, or can you like beat
no,
bosses
no.
and then come back later?
Yeah. So it's all
it's
done
not like that kind of roguelike where you quit and you start.
No.
Okay.
It's the round table hold is your kind of in between match checkpoint hub. You're going to vendors, purchasing runes to like build to help your character build. And there's secret characters you can unlock there. And yeah, it's very much like it's more of a roguelite. Like you're getting things that carry over between those runs.
Okay, I was worried this was a Returnal situation.
No.
Before they patched that and fixed it.
No. Oh god, no. That totally threw me off of that game. Like I lost probably 5 or 6 hours of progress on that game because of that. Yeah, and I thought it was
because you paused the game and like put your system to sleep, and then like the system updated.
You basically can't quit. Like when you start a run, you are committed to the end. You cannot leave.
I could not believe that people let that slide and like their criticism of that game. It totally ruined it for me, and
it's a great game. I could see why. Like that was the only like bad thing. Otherwise, it was like
that's a huge bad thing.
I mean, it is a big bad thing. But
I guess,
I didn't
but
like
like
the game. I'm just
glaring problem. Huge.
I don't know. That's a different conversation. But like a run in Returnal is like 40 minutes, an hour. Like
no, if you go,
I beat Returnal. I adore Returnal, but like
my runs are like I would be on like the 3rd area, and I'm like
I'm saying
3.5 hours in.
If you're just going.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was playing it differently, or I died faster or something. But like I don't know. I just never thought that was a problem. It felt like every other roguelike to me. Like what roguelikes are you stopping halfway through?
Look at
I don't know. I just never.
Hardcore gamer down here.
But I'm not. I'm terrible.
Beating Returnal in seconds.
Returnal run was like way longer.
Yeah, I feel like that's a game where you really need to like get your footing and figure out like what's important in a room. What kind of rooms are you going to be seeing? So you can kind of like speed through them. But like those first few runs, at least like I was kind of exploring quite a bit and taking my time walking through. So those runs did take quite a while.
Yeah. Are we still talking about Returnal, by the way?
Yes, we are. Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, everyone's favorite 2025 game, Returnal.
It is a good game.
Yeah. So that's my piece on Nightreign. I'm really enjoying it. It's one that I'll probably go back to as they add more bosses. You're kind of talking, John, about like Monster Hunter Wilds, feeling like the monsters live there, right? It feels lived in. There are moments of that in Nightreign as well, where like you'll run up and there's like a dragon fighting a troll, and it's obviously like it's a very scripted fight. But like when you first run into those moments, it's very cool. It kind of doesn't. I think Monster Hunter probably that happens in perpetuity because of the behaviors that are scripted. This is just like a sequence that happens, but nonetheless, I think it's cool.
I have seen that comparison where like Nightreign is kind of like them trying to do more of a Monster Hunter, like repeatable missions, going out with friends and trying to take down these really hard encounters. You learn. I mean, just like Elden Ring or Dark Souls, like you're learning the mechanics of that boss and trying to coordinate to take them down. Like I think that fits well with that genre. That's kind of how I got into Monster Hunter originally, was playing that and Dark Souls around the same time, and kind of like getting like both of them have very like deliberate combat and like animation heavy combat, and everything you do has to have meaning behind it. Otherwise you're gonna die. So that like playing both of those kind of simultaneously helped it click both ways and really enjoy what both of those were putting out. So.
Well, cool. Kyle, let's go to you. What's next?
Yeah. I had a little bit of a longer list, but in the interest of, I don't know, maybe kind of getting us close to the finish line, I'm going to jump to what is still my game of the year, which is Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which was a game that, like, when they showed off, I remember thinking, like, oh, that looks cool. And then when they showed the turn-based combat, I was like, that looks amazing, right? Like, that was the thing that put me over the edge. And it was, but up until release, it was one of those things where I was like, well, this looks really cool and unique and, like, different, but it's like, you know, it's a new game. It's a first time team. You know, it probably won't live up to my expectations, or rather, I was setting kind of middling expectations for it as like a new team, especially RPGs. Like they'll just kind of like, you know, they're really long in the tooth at a certain point. But man, Clair Obscur just pulls you in from like its opening hour. Like it is like the most successful opening for any turn-based RPG ever, arguably. I don't know. I would be, I mean, that's a larger argument to have, but I don't know the last time I've like booted up a turn-based RPG and was that enthralled that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that opening is incredible.
Yeah, and it just maintains that pace throughout the end. I mean, it's maybe a minor spoiler here, so maybe press that little 30-second forward button, but there's multiple epilogues, but it still didn't feel like too long. Like they all felt earned, and just like the style of that game and the combat is so good. It's what I want from turn-based combat. I was playing recently Sea of Remnants. I had an early build for Sea of Remnants, which was shown at the PlayStation State of Play event recently, which is a turn-based RPG, and it looks great and it seems interesting, but like I was there pressing buttons wishing that I was getting like extra damage or like being able to like block and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful, and the story is so good and interesting, and like it's like heart-wrenching. It's amazing. It's a fantastic game, and it's just one that I recommend to like anybody. You know, it's like it's the kind of video game that you could show to someone who doesn't really play video games and not be embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's another one of those games where, like Avowed, where it stands out among other sort of like fantasy games because it feels like it has like its own unique art direction. It's got it is a French developer, and you can tell because there's a French flair to the art direction that you don't see in a lot of games. Like that underwater section you get to pretty early in the game is like one of my favorite locations in any game that I've played this year. And yeah, the combat is so much fun, and I love that. If I like knowing that if I was really good, I could basically never get hit in this game. Is like a really strong motivator to want to get better at blocking and parrying, knowing that like, man, if I was on my game, you guys would never touch me.
It's nice to get both paths. Yeah, like there are people who really don't enjoy doing countering and blocking, and I understand that. Like they just don't find that gameplay enjoyable. You know, someone lifting a sword slowly and then being like, huh! You know, and I understand why that's frustrating for people, but like for me, who's the kind of player, even in an RPG, who will just slam their head against a brick wall for an hour rather than like walk backwards and level up a couple times. Like I love that you can learn these like sequences and like be successful and like live through like fights that you're like way underpowered for, and it looks amazing. It's just an incredible game.
You don't feel helpless in those fights.
No, you never feel helpless.
It's like I can't like this is going to kill me if it hits me, but I have an out instead of most RPGs where it's like, well, this is just gonna hit me, I guess. I guess I gotta take this.
Yeah. So yeah, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Really like maybe I should have had higher expectations, you know, based on those early looks. But man, I was just enthralled throughout. Yeah, I miss it. It's one of those.
It is high on my list.
Yeah.
I have started it.
Oh, nice.
It's not crazy long, right?
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
like because you can mainline it, which I did mostly. Like I didn't do a lot of side quests, but I think I came under 35 hours or something like that. So like I wouldn't be intimidated by it. Like if you want to just rip through it, like that is an option, right? And it's good. It's really good.
I was kind of worried about that game being a little bit too linear. Like early like previews and stuff, you would look at the maps and it looked like Final Fantasy X, kind of just like I'm going down a hallway or whatever. But like it is a little bit, I'd say, inspired by like the Souls genre, where like you are going to be like, yeah, it might be a little bit linear, but there are very specific challenges along the way And like every time like you save at one of the flags, like everything kind of respawns.
Mhm.
And you have an Estus flask essentially.
You have
which is
Estus
nice.
flasks. Yeah, there's a lot of mechanics in there that are I think very specifically like Souls like mechanics. But also it gives you a lot of just systems to play with, like the Pictos and Luminas, and the different abilities that your characters can get. Like what you guys were saying before, you're never really ever stuck. Like there's always a different like combat puzzle to figure out, and maybe that's adjusting what Pictos you have, what abilities your characters are using, and what kind of synergies you get to apply between them. I'm only in like the beginning of Act 2, but there's so much of that game that I like just makes my brain go burr. And like I'm just like trying to figure out the numbers and seeing how I can kill things the fastest or survive crazy attacks. Or if I get to a certain point in the game and I unlock an ability, I'm thinking about like that boss 2 hours ago that that would just die against no matter what. Just they would just one shot me, that I finally could figure out how to defeat them. Yeah, that game is incredible. I need to actually sit down and finish it.
Same.
It also opens up more, John, too, like later. Like if you if you do feel like it's being linear, if it feels a little linear for you, like the latter portion of the game is much more free roam, in a cool way.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Who's next?
Like John?
John.
I think
John. In the interest of time, probably got about 25 minutes left, so
yeah.
Not that we can't dive deep into some of these, but pick the ones you want to dive into deep.
John, I'm keeping my headphones on. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. I'm listening, but I'm gonna go grab some water.
Okay, sounds good. Oh no, he's listening. My next one is a recent release, and it's Fantasy Life I.
Yeah.
Which is I'm not usually into like gathering and crafting games. And I like things like Animal Crossing well enough, but it's never like my obsession.
Sure.
And Fantasy Life I kind of strikes the balance between like doing the crafting stuff, like you have different classes that you have for like chopping down trees or mining or fishing, and then you have crafting classes that where you can make furniture,
Blacksmith,
or axes,
carpentry,
blacksmith, yeah, all that stuff. And then you have your combat classes, like I think there's like paladin and magician, and stuff like that. So you can kind of like choose how you want to play through the game, and which of those you want to take on. You can take on all of them if you want. You don't have to, but it always gives you little things as you're working through to achieve. Like every class has its own little like board of quests that you're constantly working through to become a better blacksmith or carpenter or whatever. And that's really just been my game that I've been picking at for a little bit since before the Switch 2 launch, and then since then, because it has a Switch 2 edition that greatly improves the frame rate and resolution. It's like a transformative update for that game.
That's what I'm playing on Switch 2, and really enjoying it. This is my first Fantasy Life game, and I picked it up on your recommendation, John. And yeah, it's very enjoyable. I am somebody who kind of gravitates to those kind of crafting games. I do combat just for like if I need ingredients or there's a quest for it, but like I love doing the cooking stuff and the carpentry stuff. I do have a question for you, John, as somebody who's further in it than I. As I'm building up, like so far, like I know the intro quest for the carpenter, right? You have to go and make a couch or whatever, or a chair, I think, for somebody in the city. Is there a point where like you get your own place and can start doing that?
Yeah, so you actually get an island. You get an island where you
Alex's
get to, like,
eyes just lit up.
You get to
Because
like
that's the thing that I
build-
feel has been missing for me in this game.
It's like when I mentioned cards during Promise Mascot Agency.
So Fantasy Life is like weirdly big.
Yeah.
You're working with like different points in time. Like there's the past, the present. There's like a whole island that you can explore if you want like that big, like if you want to kind of go into exploring and mining and going on adventures and doing combat and stuff. Like there's a whole island with like different zones with different like levels of enemies and
Okay.
like items to collect that you can like level up those zones. Like it's this super weird deep thing that you can get into if you want.
Okay. I was just from the story where I'm at in the story right now. I was getting the vibe like, oh, I'm not gonna get to like live at this place because spoilers, you're trying to get off of where you're trying to leave the place that you start at. And so I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not gonna be getting a house if my main goal is to leave this place.
Does the I stand for I don't want to be here? Is that what that is?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Okay.
But that's not the case then.
That's not the case. And like
Sweet.
your different classes and stuff, like if you're doing carpentry, like you could build couches, beds, whatever. Like that's kind of the Animal Crossing side of things.
Yeah.
Where you can create your own village and like house everything. Like there's buddies that you get that can go on adventures with you. And you can give them houses and gear them up.
This
Like,
says I will be playing that this evening because I've been
that
joining
is-
the gameplay. I'm like, where am I going with this? Because in the intro quests, you're just doing favors for other people. I'm like,
Right.
I want this stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can have that stuff and you can make it for all of your village of friends.
Okay, that's
Um,
very cool.
You want
It
to work
is
for me.
deceptively deep. If you want it for you.
Yeah, you want to work for yourself.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Small business. Yeah, I'm enjoying Fantasy Life. I really like the characters and the character designs. Like my dude looks like a freako.
Oh, mine too.
And I love it. Yeah. He's just the art style is like is really I don't know, it kind of sets it apart. It's definitely fantasy and it's kind of like I don't even know if it's chibi
They
style.
look like little dolls. Like they look like
Yeah.
little
It almost
wooden
reminds me of like
dolls.
Link's Awakening 3D, like the
Kinda.
remaster.
It's like
a little.
adjacent. Yeah. to
Yeah,
that.
and there's like a quality to the characters that it's like it's not quite full anime, it's not quite chibi, it's like and that stuff I don't love. Whereas this, it feels a little more like grounded in its own style, in a way that's really appealing.
I like the horse. I'm looking at a screenshot of the way the horses look, and that one's a good looking horse. Got like a little smile on it, like he's a little sassy.
I think like everything has a little smile on it.
Yeah.
With,
Yeah,
with this horse though, you should look it up.
yeah.
Marcus really likes
Yeah.
his horse.
I really think that game it hit at a weird time because it I think it released like a week or two before the Switch 2 launch. But I think it's one of those, if people are looking for something to play on Switch 2, I think people should be looking there. There's a lot to do. You can play a multiplayer. It's crossplay with PC. So I don't know where I'm really going with this, but it's just something that I think is going to be overlooked in the grand
Yeah.
scheme of things.
Eventually.
It
that
seems
more
like-
people should really check out.
It seems like the perfect handheld game.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it on Switch too. I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah, I want to try it. I was kind of like indifferent to it, but I kept hearing more and more good things, and I generally like Level 5, who was the developer.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, and I need things to play on my Switch too. So
yeah.
It's fascinating, like reading about that development and what happened in like the last year or so since Keiji Inafune left the company, and how that game's transformed. So look into that as well.
Cool. Well, Marcus, we'll send it to you. What's your next one?
I love saying the name of this game. It's called Shotgun Cop Man.
Sounds like it's full of nuance.
It might. It's might be nuanced in its simplicity, because all it is that it is a Super Meat Boy-esque kind of precision platformer where you play as what I think is a parody of Steven Seagal is the vibe that I get.
yeah.
But he looks like a weird eraser head man with big shoulders, and you're just trying to arrest Satan. And
That's
every
not what I
s-
thought this game was about.
yeah, like literally every stage starts with him running up to Satan saying, "You're under arrest." And Satan says the same thing every time. And he just goes, "F you, Shotgun Cop Man." I'm censoring myself. And that's literally the story of this game. And it's dozens and dozens of these really tight platforming stages where the thing that separates it from Meat Boy is that you use a shotgun as well as other guns to basically jump. Like you don't have like you can't jump inherently. You can only jump by pointing your gun to the ground and shooting and just sort of using the force from your shots to propel yourself upwards. And it's got twin stick controls, and the sort of like puzzle element of the game is like how long can you keep yourself airborne with the limited shots that you have in whatever weapon you're using, because you can only reload when you touch the ground. So a lot of the platforming is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna shoot, I'm gonna fall here, I'm gonna shoot again to get over this gap or get past some spikes, but I also need to aim and shoot this enemy that's in front of me. And the game encourages speed running, because if you're really on your game, you can fly through this stage in like seconds. And there's like optional objectives at the end of each stage for like, oh, did you get the high score for how quickly you got through it? Or did you kill all the enemies in a stage, which you don't have to, but if you want 100% a stage, you got to do it. As well as like, oh, did you get through without taking any damage? Because you can only take like 2 hits basically, and then you die. But it's very fun. Like the sort of shooting the jump thing works really well. The level design I've seen so far has been very like it's well designed, and they do some really cool platforming gimmicks with each chapter that you go through of like, oh, you have these switches that you need to flip that open doors. You need to find a way to stay airborne while flipping these switches and then getting through the open doors while also maybe dodging like some rotating spikes or like 3 dudes shooting at you at the same time. Like it gets really frantic in a really fun way. And it's just really cool. It's just like I love platformers, and I love Meat Boy or any sort of like Meat Boy adjacent style. Like, okay, this is about like just fast pace, like just real like pixel perfect like precision jumping.
Yeah.
And this is basically like a sort of like different spin on that stuff. But I've been itching for something like that this year. Like there haven't been like a ton of like super big platformers for me, which is one of the reasons why I'm so excited about Donkey Kong's. I just want like a good platformer to sink my teeth into. But yeah, this one's pretty cool. I feel like it's been somewhat under the radar. Like I wrote about it for like a spotlight entry on the website when I first started playing it, and I haven't finished it yet. I've kind of been chipping away at it little by little, because one of those games you could do like a couple stages here and there and then like come back to it the next day or something like that, or a chapter or whatever. There's like boss fights at the end of each stage, which are pretty fun generally. But yeah, it's cool. I think it's worth checking out if you are a Meat Boy fan, or if you enjoy those kind of platformers. Keep an eye out for Shotgun Cop Man.
Awesome. My next one I want to talk about John with, actually. I know it's on his list too.
Yeah.
Is the Bazaar, which is, I think I've talked about it last year on the Game Informer show. I think it kind of made my editor's choice list because it wasn't out in 1.0 yet.
Is it the Bazaar is in Bazaar Strange, or Bazaar like
the merchant,
place?
like the shop?
Yeah, like it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Bazaar.
Bazaar. Bazaar.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Gotcha.
This is a while you aren't technically using cards, it is effectively a deck builder in some ways.
Deck builder, auto battler.
Yeah, deck builder, auto battler, but you aren't dealing with you aren't really having to worry about like, oh, this card has 8 health and I have to play that. Like you aren't playing cards in that way. It's more you are collecting a series of items through battles with enemies and a mixture of like player ghosts, you know?
Yeah.
And other
it's
players.
Like Slay the Spire, if all the battles, or if like the battles getting to like the next day is all ghosts of other players and their builds that they've had on that day.
Yeah. And it's a really, really easy way to sink a lot of hours into a game. It's
and money.
No. Oh well.
Yes and no. Like,
there's been some kind of got into a lot of hot water with their 1.0 release and the monetization that has now been fixed to my understanding, and everyone's happy again. I have only spent it is free to play. I paid for like a founders pack back when it was in beta. But each character kind of has their own deck theme. So like one dude has, and I've saved up enough coins to just get him the character for free. The one everyone starts with is this like more like water themed pirate lady, and her deck kind of revolves around poison and like maximizing like really big damage dealing like cannons and stuff. Whereas the second guy that I unlocked is the real estate guy, and he's the pig. He's more focused on like how money can influence the value of like building value in your like real estate cards and transferring that to like healing items and shields. Yeah, it's interesting. And then there's a robot character that goes like all in on like more complex like machinery and or like burning people like really quickly, their health. And the way they work,
little robot friends.
Yeah. And each matchup, you start with a certain amount of health depending on like the choices you've made in your run. So like sometimes you might prioritize increasing your max health or your regeneration, your health regeneration stat instead of getting like a cool item that you want. It's kind of like a lot of choices like that. And after a certain amount of time fighting the other person, because sometimes there are just moments where like you are doing 0 damage to me because my build is all about heals, and you were just like not doing enough to really make a dent in my health bar. Eventually a sandstorm kind of comes in and starts ticking damage, like increasingly like exponentially. Exponential damage to equal it to each player. And it's like who can kind of like survive in the storm long enough, essentially. There's some really cool ideas, and I've been playing this game for a while and have really enjoyed going back to it. Somewhat like every couple months I'll go back out and I'll like, okay, time for some Bazaar. And John and Eric Van Allen, who was on the show last week, we kind of jokingly refer to it as like the calculator game, because you're just like seeing numbers go up and up and up and up.
Like you make things faster.
Yeah.
Like, every item has like a cooldown. So you're trying to like maximize those cooldowns or like try to reduce the amount of time that it takes for something to proc. So we call it calculator battles because it's all about just maximizing those numbers.
It's a really cool game.
It's fun. Like I feel like every patch it either like saves that game or just kills it completely. It's still an open beta. I don't think it's
I thought it hit
1.0
in April, I thought.
Yeah, it just hit, like you could just download it and play it for free.
Yeah, this is not on Steam, right? It
is not on Steam. It has its own client.
Yeah, 1.0 came out April 3rd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's like constantly still evolving. I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, they have like new seasons every month that'll add new items for characters. There's battle passes that you can work through to get new items that you can encounter on your runs, and that at the end of that season all that just gets added to those characters for free. So it's more so you're playing to have those benefits throughout that season than anything else. But there's a lot of cool things about that game. I don't think it's anywhere near finished, even though it is in 1.0. There's a lot that they need to do to solidify what that game is and how it's balanced and all of that. But it's very fun, and it's something I go back to every couple of weeks like Alex does.
Yeah. Well, cool. Kyle, you want to give us one more recommendation, and or you can give us a lightning round if you really want to mention several things.
Sure. I'll lightning round it. Okay. I had Blueprints on my list, an amazing puzzle game
me too.
I have a number of qualms with. Which
so do I.
We'll talk about more at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But very cool. My wife and I played it together and saw it to credits and had a good time. Wander Stop, I thought was a really moving and interesting game about getting burned. Just burnout. Just that sort of idea of burnout in your life, which I played at a time we were very busy. Launching a new magazine, so it's very good.
Yeah, I still I really want to play that.
It's not very long. It's good. It's because like I usually don't like I don't really like cozy games. Just not really my genre. And that game actually kind of it tricks you into thinking it's a cozy game, but it's really more of a narrative game ultimately. Mm-hmm. It's good though. Mm-hmm. I Wander Stop I like. And then I I'm still thinking a lot about Death Stranding 2, and I'm still playing Death Stranding 2 despite having finished it. I've hit a point now. Jacob Geller has finished it, so I've been able to DM with someone finally about the ending and talk about the ending, which I'm sure we'll be able to do a lot more of soon as more people get through it. But I mean, yeah, Death Stranding is a great game, absolutely.
Awesome. John, do you want to indulge in a lightning round?
Yeah, I think I only have like one more thing to put on here. It's the first Berserker Khazan, a game that I really did not like at first because it was so damn hard, and then it molded me into a true gamer.
And, made a man out of you.
It really made a man out of me.
I remember talking to you at
Donny
the coffee
Osmond
shop.
singing at you the whole
We
time.
met like, I think you were like 7 bosses in, and we went to get coffee one night, and you were just like, I don't know how I'm gonna like get this embargo. Like I remember that game being so hard.
Yeah. So I reviewed it for IGN, and I think my review came out like 2 weeks after that game actually released.
Yeah.
Just because like getting a third of the way through that game took me 30 hours.
Damn.
I think I played it for like 80 or 90 hours total.
Oh my god.
But I'm not the best at Souls likes. I don't know. But like it really hammers home like you need like your perfect parries, you need your dodges. It really demands that of you. And it really actually helped me with Clair Obscur right afterwards.
Oh sure. I can see that, yeah.
Because like you're doing like very exact button presses, especially for parries in there. And I think once you get that locked in and start developing your character the way that you want to play them, I think that game is fantastic and really one of the best Souls experiences I've had in quite a while.
I need to get back to it. I was playing it for a bit, possibly for review, and it just took so long.
Yeah, when I saw you were playing that, I'm like, good luck, Marcus.
Yeah, and then I just had other games that I had to play for work, and I just never were able to get back to it.
Yeah. Marcus, time for your lightning round, sir.
Yeah, I'll shout out Blueprints too. That's arguably my game of the year. I love that game to death. I've got a few qualms. I might have less than you guys, but it is also I've learned this is a very like 2025 is a year of the note-taking games for me because of this. It was Roottrees, and I beat Lorelei and the Laser Eyes in the beginning of the year. So I've like
It's another note-taking game, yeah.
Yeah, but I love Blueprints. I think it's again arguably the best puzzle game of the year, maybe the best game of the year. We'll see how that stacks up. Citizen Sleeper 2, really good game. I'm a big fan of the first Citizen Sleeper. This one adds a cool like party building mechanic to it, where now you have other people that you manage and also additional dice rolls. It's also like harder on the survival side of it because you can get like glitched now, and there's some like very tense, like everything you do feels like 100 times tenser than the first game, which says a lot because the first game you feel like you're kind of like getting by the skin of your teeth for a lot of it, and this one I think amplifies that, but like in a way that is still really fun instead of like frustrating, and also like a very engaging narrative, much like the first game. So shout that out. There's a cool game called Spilled that I played is also a very short
year?
That was this year. It came out maybe a couple months ago. It was around the time that we came back, I want to say.
Yeah.
But it's like an hour long. You play as a boat that just cleans up oil spills, and it's really pretty, and it's a very chill, easy, just laid back experience. You're just sailing around these really pretty riverways and like open oceans and just cleaning up oil spills and upgrading your ship in a very just easy upgrade loop. But yeah, it is very much a like just decompress and feel like you're doing something like really rewarding and good. So yeah, that one I recommend. And then there's South of Midnight is also one that I
want to get back to that one.
Yeah, that one's you know what, I like it. I've got issues, but I like that it's basically a throwback to like PS2, PS3 era third-person adventure games with a very cool art direction, and also just tackling like Southern folklore, which you don't also really see in really most media, let alone video games. But I think the representation of just like the South in that game is really well done, and also has like a lot of reverence behind it. And I think the performances, and I also think it has one of the best soundtracks of the year. And it's just like a cool space to be in. Like I just love running around and hanging out with the different characters in that game. So yeah, and I think that's it. Maybe the last one real quick because this game has not come out yet technically.
Okay.
But I don't. Is it Ball X Pit? Is it Ball Cross Pit? Like
Ball
what do you?
Pit?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Ball X Pit is what I've been saying.
That's what I'm saying too. So this has not come out yet, but there's a demo now, and I believe your progress from the demo carries over to the full version, if I remember correctly. So it kind of feels like it's out. But this is Devolver's new game. It was the only game that they showed at their yearly sort of like SGF Direct, and my God, is it good? It is. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to play the.
Is this
Steam
like the
demo.
Tetris sort of?
Is it a
Not
breakout?
Tetris.
An
It's more
Arkanoid?
Arkanoid.
Okay.
It's a weird. It's like Arkanoid with a little bit of Vampire Survivors, with also like a city building component. Like it is a weird cocktail of things, but it all sings real well because it's like like Vampire Survivors. You play as a character who attacks automatically,
Okay.
and you're on a. I can see the Tetris comparison because the
You're on like
playing field,
a grid lane, right? Like,
yeah, and blocks are coming down the way that they do in Tetris, but it's Arkanoid where you're automatically shooting these blocks, and the idea is that you don't want the blocks to hit the bottom. But your balls bounce and ricochet, so you're really playing Arkanoid because you're trying to shoot these balls to get into the crevices of all these block enemies, so they bounce around and just murder themselves. But you can, like Vampire Survivors, the more things you kill, they drop literally at the Vampire Survivors like blue and green little bits, and then you level up, and then you get a choice of like one of 3 upgrades for your balls, and you get like there's a ton of them. Like there's like fire ones, there's like poison ones, like a ghost one that can pass through multiple enemies, and then you can combine upgrades to form new upgrades. So again, like Vampire Survivors, but it works and it looks nice and it's super and not like it just has like a cool look to it, not that it's like some like graphical powerhouse or anything like that, but I just kind of like the art direction for it. But it is a game that the time melts away. Like
seeing it in action, like via like I'm looking at GIFs of it, really kind of sells it more so than just like single screenshots.
Yeah, you need to, and it's also one of those games like you really have to play it yourself because it's such a weird blend of like genres, which is why I heavily encourage people to play the Steam demo that's out now. But I've like out of all the games from Steam Next Fest that I tried, this is the one I've by far put the most time into. And we'll still fire it up a run every now and then. And then in between runs, you're going back and you're building a city, which even that is Arkanoid because you're like laying down tiles and then sending a character to bounce around the space where you put your like crops and stuff, and that's how they build stuff. It's so weird. But no, I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm really psyched for the full release, which doesn't have a release date yet, but it is supposed to come this year at some point.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I guess I will start my little lightning round right now. I'm just writing the timestamp. Sorry about that, folks. So Skin Deep is up there. I've talked about it on the recent episodes of the show. Immersive sim set in space. You play as an insurance adjuster, and you are going on these space stations to rescue cats that you work for, and all the while like kind of managing many different stealth systems, physics, light and shadow, kind of like visibility, that sort of thing within while fighting off these space pirates. It's a lot of fun, a lot of interactions, very funny game. Really recommend Skin Deep. Blueprints we've talked about, definitely one of my higher ups. Actually, today as I was preparing for this list, Blueprints was my number 1 game for a while this year, and I knocked it down to like number 3. And I won't say what my number 1 and 2 are because I don't think those are final either. But I still really enjoy
you got to
Blueprints.
commit on July 1st to your game of the year right now.
I know, yeah, exactly. Hey, maybe I'll continue to think about it and it'll go up. But regardless, really love that game. I think for me, where it kind of falls short is in some of the storytelling. Doesn't quite get there for me. Like some of the revelations I think are cool. And like the greater story is like interesting. It's an interesting setting that you uncover. But there are just some threads that I wish were sometimes a little more easy to pull on than they are. It's definitely a game that like you get the credits, and then you don't have the full picture still, and you have to keep going after that. And I think like by the time you hit credits in that game, you're just kind of thankful to be done. Like you did it, you made it, you did the run. Maybe I'll go back to it, maybe I won't. Haste, we talked about it on our YouTube channel earlier this year, and a new gameplay today, but it's like that sort of like 3D Sonic-esque free-flowing parkour racing game where you are like picking up power-ups as you go, and like it's a really, really neat game. I think didn't Landfall make that one or publish it at the very least? The folks behind like Peak and Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Really great game with like really fun movement and some really clever boss battles. Yeah. And then lastly, Lonely Mountain Snow Riders. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that series or not.
Yeah, I love downhill.
Downhill,
the biking one. Yeah, I played a lot of that actually. I forgot that the snow. It's like snow or skiing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's skiing, and I'm really enjoying it. It's relaxing as it is challenging in a weird way. Like, and there's like a kind of a quiet like undertone of comedy, like physical comedy. And just like some of the ways that your character just whiffs it, and like when you bail out, it has like this weight to it, and it's just, even though like you're really zoomed out, you're looking at like a top down sort of like, or not quite top down, but like you're very zoomed out, almost like a bird's eye perspective, watching, like, controlling the skier, and still when you hit something about the physics, your character goes flying.
I need you to record that and make a fail comp.
Yeah, that would be a perfect game for that. And there's like an online racing mode that I really enjoy. It's a ton of fun. Another game that, like, if you can figure out like optimal speed running routes, you can really kind of get ahead of the competition in those online races. But even if you don't want to do that, you just want to play single player and you want to vibe out, it's a really fun and relaxing game if you want it to be. It's kind of like, it kind of molds itself to what you want it to be in that way. And it's unlike some other games, I think it's very like malleable, and you can kind of get a lot of different things out of it. And yeah, that's Lonely Mountain Snow Riders.
Yes, thank you for reminding me that exists.
Yeah, you should add that.
On Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
Oh, cool. I played it. It's really good on Steam Deck as well, or PC, obviously. That's where kind of I've been playing it. But yeah, excellent Game Pass game, I'd imagine. Much like the first one, I think, was like a big Game Pass.
That's how I played it.
Yeah. And I actually kind of missed out on the first one. I played Downhill a little bit. Playing Snow Riders makes me want to go and like, sink a lot of time into that game too. And like just the feeling of going downhill so quickly. The sound design is incredible. It's, they've really captured what it feels like to be almost like losing control, like on the verge of losing control in a snow sport like that. The few times I've been skiing, it's like it kind of captures that emotion of like, I'm in control, but at any moment I could make a wrong move and just eat it.
Or there could just be like a slick spot, a little dip.
Yeah. It really captures that like feeling of, and it's something I praised Riders Republic for back when that came out. Just the feeling of racing downhill on a bike, in this case skis. They capture it so well, and it kind of like transports me back to having that feeling as a kid when you're going down a big hill for the first time.
Yeah.
They really capture it with the sound effects. It's really cool. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for the show this week. Before we get out of here, I do just want to ask folks, if you haven't, please go and sign up for a Game Informer subscription today. In case you missed it, you can get our print magazine straight to your door. The first issue, print issue, I think the cutoff's probably over by the time that you are listening to this.
Yeah, I don't think we can guarantee Borderlands.
Yes, but our next cover story is the one that I've been looking forward to the most out of like our early crop of cover stories.
Yeah, what is it, Alex?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you, but it's a really interesting one that I think isn't as like obvious maybe as a cover as Borderlands. And I think it's a really interesting one.
Oh, we saw the
that
art today, didn't we, Alex?
We did see the art. Yes, I played the game. I really, really enjoyed it. I think it'll be a cool cover story. And that'll be rolling out later this month in July. But that will be we'll share more about that later on. But really, like, the best way to keep the lights on for us is to get a Game Informer subscription. You know, no matter if you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to podcasts, that stuff is really helpful. Don't get me wrong. But if you're looking for like the number one way to support us, it is to either get a print or a digital magazine subscription. Print magazine costs $70 a year. You get 10 issues delivered to your door, 100-ish pages an issue, you know, counting covers and all that. It's a lot of pages. Exclusive features that our wonderful staff and freelancers from around the world have invested a lot of time into. It's really like something that we're really proud of. And I think, we really aim for each magazine. Not only do we have like reviews and previews, that kind of thing, but it's really, we aim for like the content of it to be something like a coffee table book, like, business profiles on like prominent developers, really interesting looks into how games are made. It's a great product, I think, and we really believe in it. And we would love for you to get one. If you're interested, go to gameinformer.com/subscribe. You can sign up to get your issue sent to you very soon. And you can access all of our magazine articles and all of that through a digital subscription. You can even like look at it through a cool like PDF viewer. It looks like you're reading the book. That's $45 a year. And you can get that if you're international as well. That latter one. But also, real quick, just want to say thank you, John, for joining us on the show this week.
Yeah.
I know people can find you online at John Carson Games on social media. If you're on Blue Sky, you can follow John at John Carson. It's exactly how it's spelled, King of Late Night, as we call him. But John, where else can people? What do you got cooking? Where can people find you? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've been messing around with YouTube stuff. If you follow me on Blue Sky, I'll be posting stuff on there. I'm opening Final Fantasy Magic card packs until I find Vivi.
Nice.
Which is a fun little series that I've been kind of learning video editing stuff with.
Sweet.
And doing some longer form, like 10-minute videos or whatever on previews for games, or just doing some extra game content there. I'm freelancing for IGN.com, doing tech reviews there. So look out for that stuff as well. Also, I just freelance for various other publications,
Nice.
For game reviews or previews or whatever. So still hanging around the industry.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today, John. It's
thanks for
always
having
a
me.
privilege
You
to
guys
have
are
you
family. So
Absolutely.
whenever you need
Yeah.
me.
Hey, when you're here, you're family.
That's true.
Fly like July, or whatever we said at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, whatever dumb thing Marcus said.
No, that's a classic saying. I'm sorry. I didn't.
You can also follow Marcus Stewart online at Marcus Stewart 7 on Blue Sky. That's really the only place he is. He's not online very much.
You got to earn me. I don't
You
make
gotta earn
myself
you, yeah.
available anywhere, okay?
Yeah, I like that. Kyle, a little more loose with it. You can follow him at Kyle Hilliard on Instagram, Blue Sky, and elsewhere probably.
Yeah, I upgraded. I did get I did the URL thing, so I'm KyleHilliard.com on Blue Sky now.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Wow.
I should probably put a website there.
That's a thing you can do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to
That's why
have the .blue sky thing.
We're GameInformer.com on Blue Sky. That's our username.
I'm at itsvanaken.games on Blue Sky, and
What?
it's Van Aken on Instagram. Yeah, Marcus, welcome to the world.
Get a
The
URL.
world
gonna
of the
be-
internet.
Dot
Get a brand.
guy.
You could
If you
probably make
can
that
go
happen.
purchase that URL,
If you purchase the
for
URL,
it.
it's really easy. They walk you through it.
Marcus Stewart dot guy.
Yeah, you can make
it's
that
probably
happen.
available. Let's see. I'll
Although
look it
you
up
want to
for you.
buy it before this episode goes up, in case people squat on it. Really
Oh,
hotly in demand URL.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Seems to be available.
Once again, thank you everybody for watching. If you're on YouTube or listening on major podcast platforms, we really appreciate you sticking around and hanging out with us today. Hope you have a safe 4th of July. Don't jump over fireworks like I used to do when I was a teenager. Don't do dumb stuff with fireworks. It's bad.
Please don't burn your homes down because it always
Yeah.
happens. Don't be one of those people.
It always happens.
Every year.
Every year.
Every time you
yeah.
fire off a
Yeah,
firework,
that's-
you burn down a home.
Don't be one of those
There's-
people. We better not see your name in the news.
Yes,
listener.
please don't.
Yeah. Be safe. Have some good hot dogs. If you're near a lake, jump in, have fun. And we'll catch you next week. Goodbye.